Yeah, yeah, I'm sorry, buying a fully continuing walk on a day.
Okay.
Yeah, in the issue of the government government, most of our officials they want to live on government cover until they die. And they are not considering the organization that you cannot investigate something that will get a label and say, don't show when you about this, let me die. Like no government official want to live on government cover until they die. And the ordinary people are going to live in their property. It's unfair. The laws that we have on our books, they are not in the issue of the ordinary people's life. And they are in the issue of the people that could not pass work at the detriment of the majority. No, we can go and get a reason. You cannot tell me like that. This is going to tell you, and you say one government, you name one government, come on, did that. Some fair law that we have on our book. You say government, you collect all the money. And yet they say you're not investing into things that will generate money. And that's why our common future has affected to our nation. Because they don't create. If you go play to Ghana, when the common future says government for 4 years, it may go and farm and go live there. You do the other way, go on.
But again, until we can change the law, we have to ensure that we do what the law says.
These laws are only good they are not in the nature of the masses. That's my main point.
Okay, many thanks. I really appreciate your time this evening on the nighttime heat. Okay, so we've entered another dimension of the program. We have in studio now, face to face, the Inspector General of the Liberia National Police, Gregory Cole. And of course, we speaking with the Inspector General on a couple of issues, litany of issues concerning the Liberia National Police operation. Mr. Inspector General?
Good evening. Oh, are we all part of the broadcast tonight?
Yes, you have people who are also doing some live streaming. They heard about the Inspector General, and they know that. Okay, he said heavyweight, so they saw that there's a need to come and also provide him coverage. So welcome, Mr. Inspector General.
Thank you so much.
Okay, first let me ask on this soft note. I know I've spoken with you before. I've seen you also. In fact, I can remember there was a video. That I saw when your spiritual father came to the country and obediently, more submissively welcome him by almost kneeling down all the way your regalia as the Inspector General. What's your favorite Bible verse?
Oh, I will look at in these times Psalm 37 verses 25 to 26, and it says, I have been young and now I'm old. Never have I seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. He is ever merciful, and he lendeth much. That's one of the verses that I remember clearly from my mom, and she always said, and that goes a long way, because what, his seed will be forever blessed. So yeah, that's a great reference point from the scripture that I always hold dear to, especially in these times.
So you meditate that on a daily basis, or?
Well, it depends on the season, but the season we find ourselves in for now,
Okay.
that's where I find strength.
Well, that's good to know. Well, let's get into our discussion, Mr. Inspector General. I know, if my memory can serve me right, you were in the last administration of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And after the administration expired, or terms expired, you left and you went into your closet. 6 years later, we are back at the helm of the Liberia National Police. Let me ask, after 6 years, what is the police force that you've inherited?
Well, the Liberia National Police is a service meant for the safety and security of the state, protecting lives and property. I inherited a police service of dedicated men that has got challenges, challenges from all areas, because it's not just from the officer's standpoint, but the availability of resources and the requisite training to even keep them going. We inherited a police body that had limited support, high illegitimate political interferences, and basically high level of intimidation in performing the duties of the officers. So that has been a challenge in trying to build confidence, restore the broken trust with the general public, and gain legitimacy from the people. However, a metaphors of men and women that are dedicated to service and have got the capacity to improve, and they are prepared to improve their service delivery to the Liberian people.
Okay.
So that, I mean, apart from all of the challenges with where I met it, I can bang more on the fact that we do have officers who are up to the task, and they have a solid foundation upon which good governance can be built.
Okay, so let me ask you, you've been there a little over 1 year, maybe 3 or 4 months now. How much achievements or how much have you accomplished in trying to address some of the problems that you inherited?
Well, we when we took over, the incidents of crime were extremely high. We had massive disconnect with the general public. Our community engagement was at its all-time low, and these are areas that we've been building upon. We've been able to reduce the incidence of crime through intelligence-led policing and strengthening our relationship with the community, incorporating the voices of people.
Okay.
We've taken that incorporation to a whole different level, where it's not just about asking people what they think, but actually incorporating their voices and tailoring the specific security needs to whatever concerns that they have on from community to community. Our approach has been kept hyper-local, and we've been engaging in ways that we've never done before. So that has helped in giving us more information, in becoming more proactive, and gaining the support and trust of the community. We're not where we want to be, but we've made some significant progress in gaining people's trust, and at least being open to share information with us about incidents of crime and information to prevent these occurrences in their community.
How are you doing that? Are you visiting the homes of people, or are you deep into the
We're
communities?
we're engaging at multiple levels. We're engaging through social media, through direct engagement. We are doing town hall meetings. We're visiting schools. Our community service department is extremely active. On the basis of intelligence, we go from place to place to speak with communities. If we are informed of a potential outbreak of a situation that could lead to violence, we are very proactive. We engage with the communities and step in before these things can get into full-scale violent uprising. So that has been our method of engagement. We haven't fallen short of any major gathering through sports, school programs, whichever way we find an entry point, we engage. But our thing is we're focusing mainly on the youthful population because these are the people who are directly involved with crime. And by engaging with the youth, we've been able to connect with a lot of their parents because through these engagements, we're now able to access the family by engaging the children, getting their attention. And that's why over the next
Engaging them in what way?
through different programs from activities at the school, school visit. We just had a visit at the LMP headquarters of our elementary school coming in. So we're making ourselves accessible and we're speaking with people, understanding their plight, understanding what the needs are, and tailoring our solutions to those specific needs. One of the things that have been a challenge when the restructure and reform happened, we were to continue our professional development on a basically quarterly biannual basis. Unfortunately, in 2018, when the UN pulled up, we had a gap in between there for in-service training. So there was a lot of loss of muscle memory in between. So at this point, we've rekindled the fire. We have in-service training going for officers. We have connections with Liberian professionals from overseas who are coming back and forth, running small courses crash courses for the officers, engaging with them, doing ride-along, sharing their professional experience just to improve the service. Over 1,500 officers have gone refresher courses covering ethics, gender-based violence issues, crowd control, and other specialized training that has been done locally, and some of them has been international trainings as well. We're now set to look at our foreign police unit, the PSU, the ERU, see the ages of the officers and make appropriate adjustments. Some of them did not reach retirement age, but for active engagement, they've passed that age, so we'll be moving some of them to other departments and training new officers to come into the PSU and the ERU as well. We've also been able to improve our coordination with international partners, engaging with embassies and other government agencies overseas, having regular stakeholders conversation, briefing our partners, because in this era of massive disinformation targeted specifically at tarnishing the image of the Liberian National Police, it is our duty to proactively engage our counterparts to send out the clear messages before the detractors can.
That is to counter the
No,
critics.
we're not bothered about the counter. We are proactively engaging. So some of these things that are posted out there, they're belated for our international partners because they are informed on time with the actual information versus what's being distorted and thrown out for the general public. When they do that, we react to it because we need to inform the public about these myths and disinformation that's ongoing, that's just meant to undermine the efforts of the men and women of the police. So I mean, it's not that we really believe or care about what they're doing, but it's the fact that we are answerable to the Liberian people whose minds that they try to corrupt every time with these wrong pieces of information. So we do some responding to them, but most importantly, our key counterparts are already informed about these occurrences before they're even able to misinterpret it. We've been able to increase female participation at a more strategic and senior level. We have more senior commanding officers as female. We've increased the number of the percentage of female even at the regional command level, which has never been done before. We've reached an all-time high in getting female in senior level jobs, and we're looking at even getting way more over the next few years. And the reason why I'm confident that we are going to be able to increase the number is because we're changing our strategy. over the next few years, our focus is not going to be on just the hard security part of policing. It's going to be on the proactive engagement with the general population. We're going to be looking at solve security issues, livelihood issues, connecting with the community, speaking for things that support safe community and not just the overall physical security. Because some of the challenges that we're faced with as far as the physical security is concerned has to do with these non-security issues that are causing the vulnerability that's leading to crime. The lack of jobs for young people create that vulnerability that make them accessible to crime. So our programming over the next few years, I'm going to focus on addressing some of these root cause issues as a means of crime reduction and conflict prevention. Public engagement, we've increased that. I think I mentioned that earlier. And our drive is to build trust.
Okay.
Because trust is a key component of the success of what we do. If the people do not trust you, you can do everything you can. I mean, it's all a waste. And I think we inherited a period of great distrust. So we've been working towards building trust and restoring the confidence of the people. Like I said, we're not there yet. We're increasing our accountability as a measure of supporting our trust building process.
Okay.
We've re-empowered the Professional Steadiness Division, and that's the internal affairs of the police that's responsible for addressing all of these issues that cause the breaching trust with the local communities. We built a new annex for them. It's to be dedicated in a few days. We are restructuring, we're giving them more support to empower them just to be able to perform the duty to hold us accountable. We've taken our reporting process one step forward, that every action taken against the officers will be clearly communicated on our website, on our social media pages, so people can understand that these guys, I mean, you can go there and do whatever you want, but believe me, once you're reported and you're investigated, action is taken. Because I think for a long time we've kept it silent as to these actions that were being taken against the malpractice of some of our officers. I mean, it was not a means of cover up, but I think it was just more of a cultural thing, and we've moved past that now as a means of enhancing our openness to build trust with the people, increasing our accountability by just communicating with them clearly as to what are the things that we're doing. So, I mean, that has been some of our achievements.
Okay. Now, Mr. Aji, let's try to get into some of the specifics now. Looking at you this evening, you look very sparkling in your uniform, and likewise some of the those who've come along with you. Are you concerned that when you travel and you see the appearance of some of your officers, looking at the uniform, properly, looking good, has it claimed your attention? Do you feel embarrassed by that?
Well, embarrassed is an understatement.
Okay.
I think we all know the police is singular. So when one officer, the police is just as dressed and good looking as what a single officer conveys to the general.
Sure.
So it does bother me that we can do as much as we can do with what we're given. I see a lot of protests around town about things that sometimes I don't understand how it benefits those who are even involved. But I mean, these are real issues that people should be concerned about. Aren't you concerned as to why there's not $1 for your police uniform, the graphic representation of the state's authority, to be able to make that proper representation? And when you see him below the officer expression, these are the things that we should be concerned about. However, I am very confident that we're engaging with the Ministry of Finance, even at the National Security Council level, seeking the requisite support for not just uniform, but most importantly for the welfare and well-being of the officers, to be able to meet their physiological needs, to be able to provide that's foundational support that is beyond just how they look, but that support their mindset to be able to perform and give their best to the Liberian people. So yes, I am concerned about it. We all, at our own level, spend our
So
own.
you are engaging the ministry. You are engaging the Ministry of Finance.
Definitely, and not just the Ministry of Finance. I'm using every means possible to ensure that this support is forthcoming. And within the not too distant future, you will definitely see that support being delivered. That is a definite promise. There's been series of engagements. As I speak to you, we have a huge quantity of uniforms and other accessories in production at this point in time. And we're just waiting for confirmation. The samples were sent. We confirmed the quality.
From which country?
Well, I think it will be produced in China.
Okay.
We've confirmed the quality and the style, the colors, and everything. So within the not too distant future, we will be seeing the officers being properly attired to represent the state's authority.
So how many sets of uniforms will you give an officer?
Well, let's just start by getting us at least looking decent and presentable to represent our.
So 1 year in the meantime.
We will be uniformed. Yeah, we will be uniformed.
Okay, so let's look at the issue of salaries. Recently, the government announced usually that they were giving some top-ups to some civil servants. Did your officers benefit?
Well, yes, a cross section of the police officers were able to benefit from that. I think from the rank of inspector down was able to benefit from that project because whatever was allotted could not cover the entire police. So those who made the least, that's where the consideration was made. Like for the patrolman on to don't hold me 100% on this, but I think it's inspector or chief inspector. But there was while there wasn't 100% salary increase for all the police officers, I can definitely confirm to you that there was income increase for all officers, including myself.
Okay.
How did that happen? Through our engagement with the government, we went back and pulled the National Security Intelligence Act of 2011, which provided for government's payment of insurance and not as a deductible from the officer's salary. So government realizing that, that as a challenge and a violation of the law, made an immediate correction. So on the basis of that, across the board, at least each officer received at least $20 as additional income that was being earlier deducted from the salary. So between those at the lower ranks, from the inspector down, at least they got somewhere around maybe 40 something dollars added to the salary, and the rest of it between $20 to $32.
Okay.
In between there, yeah.
So viewers, listeners, please share the show. You can get on your device and just step Pram FM Monrovia 105.5, and then you share the show. We have the Inspector General of the Liberia National Police as guests on the nighttime heat tonight. Yes, you are coming.
So I know a lot of people say, "Oh, but that's not much money." But you know what? We are very grateful. We thank God for small beginnings, and we are confident that indeed, with time, definitely we will get to a point where the officers will be able to completely meet their own basic needs. We should be covered by the salary, but we are grateful for that start.
What's about your new recruits? Because some time ago they were all in the media complaining that they haven't yet received any sort of payment, despite they went through the training and all of that. Did you consider that?
So, government is continuing as the Inspector General of the Liberia National Police that take full responsibility for what they went through. But I can tell you it was an error on the part of administration. When these officers were recruited in 2023, they were not considered and not factored in the budget for 2024.
Okay.
So when it was done and rolled out, we realized that these officers, that there was no appropriation made, even though they had graduated and were serving. There was no appropriation made for them. So we went back and forth on it, and we had to wait until we could get it all sorted. In between there, we were able to get some compensation for them because they were still considered as being on field training, and they got fully employed as of January 1st of this year. I think they all have their
2025.
Yes, they all have their full employment letters now, and they've been given their salaries. The good part about it is they walk in at a point in time that they've met the patrolman at the highest level yet. So they walk straight into benefit from what I just described.
Okay.
So they didn't even get the taste of what the other officers were complaining about. But howbeit, they are fully active. They're being deployed in different counties and in different units providing police service.
What's the size of the police budget?
Well, the police budget is around $23 million, out of which
A lot of money, and yet you're still crying foul.
that may sound like a lot of money, but when you subtract 17 million from there for salaries,
Okay.
you're left with basically nothing. It's a personnel-based budget. Once you pay salaries,
So how much do you deduct for salaries?
well, salary it's somewhere around 80-something% of the budget for salaries, and the rest is for goods and services. And so when you start to break that up to look at everything else that you have to do, I mean, you can just already see the challenges there. When you compare it with budget for some little cities that have got only 5,000, 10,000 person in other countries, I mean, it's nothing. But we've been able to do a lot with whatever little we've been given. Basically, doing everything with nothing,
Okay.
and continuing to engage to get support from other angles. We've been extremely aggressive in engaging other foreign partners, looking for support outside beyond just the budgetary allotment, and we've been gracious with support from a lot of our partners and other commitments as well to come in and further strengthen and improve the service delivery of the Liberia National Police. One thing I can definitely announce here: a full reform is on its way. We're working closely with UNITAR, the United Nations Training Institute. Hopefully by early next month, they will be in town, where a presentation will be made to the National Security Council and then to international partners as well, looking for the needed support to drive that reform process. And it is our hope that with that reform coming online, it will be able to address most of the concerns that the public has got about police service delivery and the overall performance and behavior of our officers as well. I would like to use this medium, like I always do when I have any opportunity, to apologize for where we may go wrong. Dealing with human beings on a daily basis, especially in this unique and special Liberia, is something that, I mean, it's almost impossible to not have some of the challenges that we do have. We acknowledge that there are bad apples. We continue to weed them out, but I also must commend the men and women that the overwhelming majority of them are patriotic citizens, peace-loving citizens that have dedicated their life to serving the Liberian people, and we remain committed to doing so. Our commitment is to ensure that at least what we call the weak law, everybody in the say, oh, the law weak, the law weak. But this weak law is never really being enforced. But this time around, it is our commitment to ensure that we bring those letters alive. Laws will be enforced in this country, and order will be restored. Every day you look at a society, I mean, it becomes hopeless when you see how people have just become brazen about their wanton disregard for the rule of law. I mean, that's not how patriotic citizens should behave. So it is our responsibility as law enforcement officers to enforce what's on the books. We're reviewing what's on the books, and we're enforcing it.
If you were just maybe invited, as we're speaking now, if you're invited, maybe tomorrow or a day after to a cabinet meeting and maybe ask about the cabinet as to how much you would think a budget of the LMP will make the LMP more functional?
Well, that depends on it depends on a lot of factors. I could throw out numbers over my head right now if I'm just looking at just the salary component to if we were okay, we're not even going to ask for special salary for police officers. We'll only request that police officers and the police organization be paid in accordance with the civil service standards.
Okay.
We're not asking for any special salary scale. We're just saying, pay us just as you pay other public servants. That would be my first request because, I mean, when you do the adjustment there, that number becomes, I mean, when I just roll it, okay, you'll be like, oh, why are you asking for all that money? So if you're
Say something so we can hear.
so if you're able, let's keep it at that, commensurate our payment with civil service, and then as far as good as
Maybe 50 million will help.
50 million could be it could provide us some good comfort.
Yeah.
It could change our service delivery within the twinkling of an eye. Yeah, that could take us a long way.
Okay.
That could definitely take us a long way, especially with the compensation of the officers providing housing for them. The police, I mean, with the salaries and stuff the police officers make, I wish they had barracks and stuff to help to accommodate them. I wish they had schools that would help, you know, to take some of the burden of them to take care of the children. I wish they had hospital as well, like in most of our neighboring countries around here. So with that kind of a money, I mean, we could do a lot. I mean, we could bring a massive transformation, increase the number of officers that we currently have, because at this point in time, in order for us to meet international best practice, looking at police per person ratio, we will need to have about 12,000 officers. And at this point in time, we're around 5,000. So that's a huge gap in between.
5,000?
Yeah.
So how many do you have in each county?
Well, it varies from county to county. I can tell you this much: in some areas, the police per person ratio goes as high as one police officer to 4,000 plus citizens, and that's not good. International standards would be around 1 to about 750. So even if we have 1 to 1,000, we would still that would mean a lot. And I mean, the deployment skewed for so many different reasons. Accommodating the officers outside of Monrovia is a challenge. Like you have the police support unit. If you're sending them out in these areas, you need to have barracks and stuff to hold them. We don't have any barracks outside. We have few officers at the regional hub because that's a facility that can keep our officers. But I mean, these are things that what you're talking about. These are some of the things that you will have to address to be able to balance the deployment, so as to just be able to provide the services for the people outside of Monrovia. We have issues of officers staying on their assignment because of the same welfare issue, difficulties in the hard to reach counties like Riverside, Grand Crew, and other places. So these challenges are real, and that's why we.
So if I were to ask you from the top of your head, how many officers do we have in Grand Crew? Where I come from?
Well, I won't give you the numbers unless it was
Four, 5 present?
You have way more than that.
Oh,
You have way more officers than that. There's no county that you have only 4 or 5 officers.
Okay.
I mean, you don't get me wrong. There are times that we have desertions in the county. Officers might abandon their assignment, but on the roster, it's accounting for this number of officers. So as soon as we start to look at the monthly roster and see how many persons being carried AWOL, we take appropriate actions, and in most cases, we're able to replace them if we have the officers available.
Okay.
But then again, I don't want to rob Peter to pay Paul, because you have to take the officer from another assignment to move them to that other area as well. So the easiest thing to do would be for us to train additional officers. And this time around, in training them, we'll consider first and foremost recruiting from the county itself, because these are people who are familiar with the territory. They're part of
They
the
live
culture,
there, yeah.
and they require no further adaptation. So I mean, once they're trained and deployed in the county, they stay there.
Okay.
So we're going to be looking at that, bringing on the community policing model, contrary to to what people believe that, oh, if they're from there, they would not perform. No, that's not true, because the model we're using, these people should be familiar with the community members. And what better service can we have than people who understand the culture, know the place, and are able to relate easily to the people who are out there. So we will be looking at that as well.
Okay. Our guest tonight on the nighttime heat is the Inspector General of the Liberia National Police. So you can share the show. Just go on your device and tap Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. Again, Prime FM Monrovia 105.5, and share the show. Now, Mr. Inspector General, let's hear from you. What is the status now of the ongoing arson investigation? Yes, I want to know.
Yes, I know our people do want to know, but
It's taking so long now, and you'll be telling us as to why it's taking so long.
we haven't addressed none of the events in this country that equate to this particular occurrence.
Okay.
One of the assaults on our democracy was 1980, where we saw an immediate change. Another one, 1990, where there was hundreds of thousands of loss of lives. I liken this fire incident to those occurrences because those were the greatest hits that our democracy took. And then in these civil times where we believe that we have come so far to understand the importance of our democracy, to have such an assault on the very seat, on the foundation of that democracy, I mean, it is alarming, it is concerning, and like I say, I equate it to those occurrences, and that's how important it is. And I know everyone is saying it's taking so long, but I'm reminding you that we haven't even addressed any of these things, but I can guarantee you, like many people, that this particular assault on our democracy will not go unpunished.
Okay, so what's the status of it now?
Calm down.
I'm coming down, I'm down.
This is a critical investigation, and we are doing everything we can to make sure that we don't bring innocent people out to say these are the people who did it just on a guess. We're applying science, we're applying all of the investigative techniques void of political interferences.
Importing investigators as well?
Well, seeking whatever help we can. Oh, and by the way, we will reach out for every form of help that we can get to ensure that this investigation is airtight. And the fire investigators are just one component of international support. We are engaging with other partners back and forth, sharing information, looking at the details of this particular stuff. So, I mean, even though we're not hearing on a day-to-day basis, but there's never a day that goes by without progress being made on this investigation.
Okay.
We're at a point now where we're concluding our final report to pass on to the Ministry of Justice, who will make the call as to whether an indictment will be proven or not. But I believe we've done sufficient investigation. We're just dotting our I's and crossing our T's. And like I said, comparing with other partners that have had no expertise, look, we don't know everything. This is like I say, it's a major investigation, and we must do everything we can to make sure we get it right. So I know people are eager and they're waiting for a conclusion. There will be a conclusion to this matter.
So you are at the point of concluding now?
Yes, we are at a point.
How soon are you going to conclude?
Don't
Dot the I then across the T, how soon?
Dotting the I, crossing the T.
Yeah.
They're
In a week's time?
You have January 6th investigation that continue on to when it was shut down. But it's
No, you're saying you're at a point now of concluding.
so that's what I'm
So
saying.
I'm putting a time tag to that.
Even the most sophisticated democracies, the most sophisticated law enforcement bodies, they take their time in investigating these things. These things are not one-day investigation, rush back and forth, and no amount of pressure is going to make us to go one step faster than we are going to go on this investigation.
The fact that Mr. Aji, you don't want to put a time tag. It seems that you still got more to go. You still maybe apparently a month or two from now if we can cross all the eyes and
You can put your time frame on it as long as you want it to. I can assure the Liberian people this case is just This investigation is just about concluded, and within no time, we will have a final report submitted to the Attorney General, who will make the call for.
When you say in no time, what do you mean?
So as soon as possible, at the earliest possible time. So, like I say, I'm asking for the patience of the public. There's a lot of disinformation, misinformation around what is being done, how it's being done. When it comes to that, we just close our ears and continue to focus on what we're doing and making sure that we deliver for the Liberian people. Honestly, everyone should be concerned about this particular thing. I mean, this was a wanton disregard for each and every citizen. I mean, a complete disrespect to the democracy. And then somehow, people who have gone ahead and disrespected every last one of us by desecrating the seat of our democracy want to stand on the same democratic values after you just desecrated it and be demanding that things be done in your own timing and how you want it to be done. No, we're going to work in accordance with the law. There's no law being violated by us taking our time to meticulously deliver to the Liberian people an airtight case that will go through the court system, and we know that will definitely get conviction. People will answer.
President, since you started this investigation, investigating in connection to this whole arson situation, how many persons?
Well, we've had a lot of people come through our wall. I mean, maybe probably almost 50 plus. Some of them, I mean, we've spoken to them with the NEC connection, and I mean, so the investigation is not limited. Tomorrow we could have new names that will be followed. So we've engaged a lot of people using different means of looking at who was important to speak to, and trust me, this investigation is void of politics, regardless of what people think. And look, Liberian people, I understand the fact that people believe that these things are always controlled. This investigation, look, I've never gotten any call to demand me to take this investigation in any direction. We've been following to the letter.
Are you serious?
My favorite scripture. I'm a married man. I have my own.
So if we're asked to
to
turn things around,
I swore on the Bible and took an oath to perform this task.
Okay.
I don't think I'm ready to compromise it in that regard, and I would never do that. I would never compromise it in that regard. So when I sit and face the Liberian people, I don't care how bad the police may be in their doings. I always speak exactly what the truth is, because I've learned in this career to cover one lie. Just get ready to never end lie, because you need another lie and another lie and another lie and another lie, and then I mean, people that you've ever worked for. We have our families. This is our home. I mean, we have to live here tomorrow. I mean, one thing, people are not used to even seeing the police going this far. The reason why a lot of people are complaining is because they believe this is one of the things that are going to be a 2-week thing and was going to be dropped and forgotten. No, we're not forgetting it.
Okay.
This time around, we'll get to the bottom of it. We'll take our time, and those who are responsible for this, from those who lit the matches to the conspirators, every last one of them will stand before the judge and let the jury decide.
Let me ask you the question. Why is it that the investigation, Mr. Aji, is only centered around members of the minority bloc? We haven't heard you to call in any member of the majority, and your police as well, keeping guard of the building.
Do you have information? Do you have evidence that police was there keeping guard of the building?
Do you have any?
If you have it, share with me, because I, as Inspector General of Police,
So there was no police keeping guard of the building?
To guard the building. Our involvement with the Capitol has its own security. On the days of sitting, because of the ongoing at the Capitol at the time, we deploy on the external perimeters to ensure that only lawmakers and the staffers enter, because there were hoodlums and other criminals that were being transported in and out of there to cause the violence within the premises of the Capitol. So the police was always on the external perimeter, covering them for as long as they stayed there. So deploy in the morning, in the evening when both blocks leave, we leave and go back, and the Capitol building security continue to take care of their premises.
Okay.
There was one night we did intervene at the Capitol, and that night it was on the basis of intelligence that that building was under threat for an arson attack. And that was how the police went there that night and deployed, made sure we did all our search, our sweep. When we were able to neutralize the threat, we left internally with the Capitol security.
So no police
On the
officer
night
is
of the fire, there was absolutely no police
officer.
officer
Okay.
assigned at the Capitol. It was only Capitol building security.
Okay.
So-
So why are you always inviting the minority bloc members?
We've been speaking to a lot of people. Those who we have invited, we are named as people, persons of interest. We send it to the House, and those are the people that we've been talking to from within.
Are some of those people part of the majority bloc?
Well, I don't know them per block. I know them on the basis of the fact that I'm looking at people of interest. I know that they're members of the legislature. So we wrote the speaker, we wrote the clerk of the House, informed the clerk that these people were people of interest and that we needed them for investigation. And they have been quite cooperative. I must commend them. There's never been a time that we've placed a call asking them to come in and they have not shown up.
Okay.
I mean, in the case where for reasonable time and based on when the call is placed, we all make adjustments as to what time we can come. But I think they've been quite cooperative and the investigation has been proceeding. So I'm not calling them on the basis of their block.
Okay.
I'm calling them on the basis of their interest to the ongoing investigation. I'm not even looking at them from the standpoint that these are legislators, members of the legislature, but rather persons of interest to an ongoing criminal investigation.
It was reported, Mr. Aji, that some of those you investigated or you invited for investigation appeared in the cell of the National Security Agency and they claimed torture. Are you concerned that you arrested anybody and maybe the NSA came and took that person over and put them in their cell? Are you aware of that?
Well, firstly, I'm not concerned.
Okay.
I'm not concerned about that disinformation because I know it's a complete lie.
Okay.
They're all fabricated stories meant to discredit this investigation. The thing about it is there are people who have decided that we invest their resources into discrediting the national police by launching this major disinformation campaign and also just discrediting everyone who's attached to the investigation to make it seem as though this is a witch hunt. This is a criminal investigation. We do not bow to the political tactics. We just follow the evidence, and wherever it leads is where we go. So I'm not.
So no one.
Look, you have who is one of the nation's most decorated security personnel. He's also a U.S. Command College Hall of Fame member. We have a lot out there beyond just what we do here locally that we never risk it to value the rights of people. So we're not concerned about all of these.
So no one was tortured in the NSA cell.
Why? Look, let me educate you a bit about
Thank you very much.
of torture. Most times when you see people use torture is because they don't have any means of acquiring information. It probably is a life and death situation, so they might want to use force, instill fear. In this case, we had acquired sufficient information using technology, using electronic means. We didn't need to torture anybody to force them to produce information that we already had.
Okay.
Beyond their allegation, I mean, in the case of the gentleman who faked his fainting at the court, he was taken to the AMI hospital. He was duly examined by a registered doctor, and the doctor noted in his report that that as a matter of fact he was conscious and acted as if he was unconscious. So after all of the testing and everything, there was no indication of any bruises, no indication of any form of assault on the physical body of the individual. So we have medical reports and everything to prove that. I mean, it's if you follow most of the investigations that these issues of torture are reported, you see there are guided questions trying to force that particular line out of them as if it's something that has been concocted just to use as a line to discredit what we're doing. We're professionals. We subscribe to international best practice. We respect human rights and dignity, and torture is something that would never be incorporated in this, not just the police, but in the joint security arrangement.
Okay.
At the level of the National Security Council, the President commits to the safety and protection of the citizens and the upholding of human rights for the entire security sector. So if they have any proof of these things that are clean, they can bring it up, we can bring it forth, but I can speak 100% for the integrity of General Johnson. I know myself as well. We will never subscribe to that.
Okay. Now, Mr. RG, I know we'll be opening the lines very shortly. The issue of protests. Your critics believe that before you came to the helm of the Liberia National Police, the protesters and the police had a very good relationship. But as we speak now, according to your critics, the relationship is very strained indeed. Before then, protesters were protesting, police were giving them food, water, and walking along with them. But as we speak on a Gregory corner, it's not the situation. Every time there's a protest, it ends bloody.
Well, I think that's an excellent point. So, giving the protesters food and water started on a Gregory Kuma. That was when we...
It started on you?
Yes, it started on Gregory Kuma's administration. That's where it actually came from. Okay. In 2016, 2017, when the protesters understood their responsibilities as protesters, and they were quite civil. We introduced that from our do no harm concept when we blended community-oriented policing with the do no harm concept and that of conflict sensitivity. Our intervention then was different. I can tell you, so if you come singing Kumbaya and you're expressing your legitimate rights as a protester, we'll give you bread and wine. But if you come with...
But how possible is that, Mr. Inspector General, when the protest is organized, few hours to the execution of the protest, you already barricade the entire city with some police holding long range. So how possible that somebody will come in peacefully?
The exact reasons why they end up being violent, that's what we try to prevent, and that's what we're prepared to ensure that the violence does not escalate. Look, so let's just be honest here. The Constitution is very clear. There's rights enshrined therein for people to protest. Growing out of those rights are other laws that also protect those who may not be a part of that protest. And that is why the law allows for, if you're going to use public spaces during a protest, and you write the Ministry of Justice and request for a permit. This permit is not meant to control your right to protest, but it's to inform law enforcement so as to dedicate support to reduce the adverse effect that it could have on other members of the public that may not be a part of your protest. So when you apply for the permit, we are informed, we sit down, we let a protest zone, there's the no-go zone, regular traffic in these areas, just so you know you can have access to the road. Trust me, we've got one major road in this place, talking about once you take protesters taken, the entire town is locked down. So the police will give you instructions. I mean, this place is a cutoff point. This is where you can stop. This is where you can present your petition. If you come to a police barricade and decide to break through the barricade,
against the lawful instruction of the officer, I mean, definitely the officer will have to disperse the crowd immediately. And that is when the use of non-lethal engagements are authorized to immediately disperse the crowd before it escalates into something else. And in the case of any protest that have ever gone violent in this place, if you look at the video on a step-by-step basis, the police either walk with them throughout as long as they were peaceful, and when it reached to the point where they became violent, the police had to immediately disperse the crowd. And these people who you're talking about, that you're now claiming that they're a bunch of peaceful citizens of the law, Umaya, and the police assault and get blooded, as to what they did to the police officer, beat him up, left him for dead, and took his firearm. These are not peaceful protesters. As such, you have to use the use of force on them accordingly to ensure that they do not escalate that violence so that it doesn't disrupt the normal activities of the state. And that we will have to do every time a protest goes violent. But as long as they remain within the confines of law, we will be there to guide them and make sure that we provide the necessary resources to ensure that their voices are heard.
Okay, shortly I'll open the lines. But finally, it's trending on social media about the death of a young man who, according to reports, is an auditor from the Liberia Revenue Authority. His body was found. Do you care to comment?
So we're still looking, we're so far so good. It's my understanding that it has to do with a mob action. So the CSD are trying to trace a couple of people, the community he visited, the person he visited, and follow up on some claims and counterclaims that have been made. As of yet, I cannot directly speak to where we are with it, but I know that an investigation.
No arrest has been made yet.
I cannot confirm that, but I know we have persons of interest that would like to speak with for more information as to where he went and how this sad event unfolded. But you see, this is where the society have come to. Just outright violence. As soon as someone declares someone a criminal, you don't even give them a chance to go through the criminal justice system to even get to the court. The next thing, everybody's taking the law in their hand and getting innocent people wounded. I mean, we don't have the full details yet, but I mean, it's around basically one of those incidents where it was just quite an unfortunate occurrence. However, we are working to get those persons of interest and continue to talk to them. I am sure that there are updates for me on this matter, and if I do see anything in my feed before I leave from here, I will comment on it further. But so far so good. We're looking in getting some person of interest for information purposes.
How many mysterious death cases are you investigating currently?
So I think
You don't have the
I
records.
don't have the numbers in my head, but all of we're
More
looking
than 100
into,
deaths?
we're looking into all of the unsolved murders that have been in this country. The cold case unit in some cases, some of the documents were intentionally taken away in most of the suspicious death. So we're building some of those case files from scratch. Most of the over the last 6 years, most of the cases that will require suspicious death, it's been a challenge in finding the files to even speed up the investigation. But we have some really good officers. We have some people who are cooperating. So those files are being built. Whatever little has been found, we're accessing them. But we'll give an update very soon as to where we are on a case-by-case basis. But we're looking into a lot of unsolved crimes in the country.
Okay, so Mr. RG, let me take a few calls quickly before we take leave of you. 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. Let's take this first call on the line. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, I'm Transfer calling from Congo Town.
Okay.
Yes, so thank you for the show. You asked the Inspector General some serious question, and I must commend you for that. You asked him, you said, why they are only arresting members of the minority bloc, but the FUMO, he couldn't really answer it. Then why the speaker chair and the speaker chair put to people who can't get in. You understand me? And secondly, you see, one thing I really do not like about this government, all the good things they attribute to himself. When he said the inspector general said he inherited a great number of pictures as it relates to the past government. You understand me? You see, now the just do a minister of he asked on Patrick Sulu when he was there, the recovery administration. He would tell you say Patrick Sulu was better. This current people is brutal. Very, very brutal. So
Okay, you made a point already. 0778-460-793, 0778-460-793, or better still, 0886-050507. Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, my name is Tukan Bridges Gray.
Let's hear from you.
Mr. George, about this concern with the IG. I normally see the police people will be put up for kata, but what they do, they have to do. And then informed that the many the motorcyclists that they should register with kata motor, which will say as a free reference for them coming back to the street.
Okay. Your response to that, he's taking notes. Hello? Good evening. Yes, sir. Let's hear from you. Okay.
The clarity given to the public, we will commend him for what he said and how far this is going. Because he provided such information as to the small amount that the police is operating in, the challenge of police force. Without a few friends of police, the last time I was in the article, they said that some of them are bombing, they were saying that they were requested to travel on their own expense. How is this possible? How you can say efficiency that is not in the police? And also, I want to ask the IG if you are aware of the situation of police officers in red light, the water style on the traffic as a whole. I do a private business running KK. And to be honest, we really do get harassed by the police system in the street there. You pay the calls, you pay this, that, and when you get there, at red light, especially, there are more than 5, 6 police officers land on the road and just stopping everybody left, center, right. Maybe you present all your documents to them, even all your documents that are walking around here, you have to get off the get chasing them, going after them, and talking with them.
Okay. I see you made your point already. Let's this corner. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
My name is Patrick Steve, calling from the Street.
Okay.
Yeah, we really want to commend it actually for the tremendous efforts you are making towards the police. Because all this routine, you see that the police is the only 10 message, this is the only routine, is the only thing that I see that the police is all kind of like me, under the police. So I want to commend the IG for the tremendous effort, whatever they are making with police. And also, IG, I want to do that again. Don't be distracted by opposition. Because I know you are making a proper security, you see people all want to distract you from your work doing. So keep on your way.
Okay. Let's see this call on the line. You made your point already. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
My name is Sarah by an appointment Cannabis.
Okay.
I want to listen to your hidden guest. I want to hear from the IG. Is there any step when people are protesting like you know, like people or you just tear gas? I want to understand when you just most of the protests coming, you just always in tear gas. So how is it?
Okay. Let's see this caller. He already understand what you're trying to say. Good evening.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Michael. I appreciate the General Granny Como for a hard work. He was combination when it comes to Labranado policing and station. But I have a question. How can police, many of police women as so all managed to get a pattern to community people policing the water. I think people really complain. Their complaint will be made to complainants. And so many times we see them collecting money for therefore get out on the street. How can we be told this all professional police officers to professional stand-up? And you know what? We will complain them.
Okay. Let's take this caller. Good evening.
Thank you. Question. Good evening again.
Okay.
And thank you. This is William Project, and I've been to this conference. And let me say good evening to the general of your Professor Como. Mr. Pohan put our work regarding the government police, the supervision rule, I think it is unique. But I have a question regarding the traffic violation. That is if you have to travel validate the traffic, and you will not see police taking to rush the story into that one place. Right? They would rather get on motorbike to take that test and track them down when they get stuck into the traffic to pull them over. But whenever a motorcycle does a traffic violation, you always see police either beat them with a baton or stop them that maybe they sustain bodily injury. I want to know as to whether there is an existing law for the traffic vehicles that call for that on someone or violate the traffic bodily injury. Thank you.
Okay, we'll take 3 more calls and I'll wrap it up. The SBO respond to your concerns. Good evening. Yes, good evening. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, I want to appreciate the police the out of the prayer about it. Yeah, certainly I want to say that we don't want to is that anything we can do right now? Now I don't like that. See, now we go through a lot. We need susu. So we appeal the argument. Anything we can do to get our level to be. We just appeal to him. Very there for the fire. We just appeal to him.
Okay. Okay. 0778460793. I'll take 2 more calls and then I'll wrap it up quickly. Or 0886050507. Let me take 2 more calls and I'll wrap it up quickly. Good afternoon. Yes, sir. Good evening, brother.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. George.
Okay.
I want to commend the IG for the dynamic work, the very productive work he's doing. You know what he did one of these days on the Kiro Street. I think where people are someone to criticize government and exercise their franchise. He went there and upgraded that institution. If a very good festive atmosphere to the place. I think it's a human rights-based police because no police director that believes in that does not believe in what you could call a right-based policing will ever do that. And we also have to consider one thing that police responsibility on the current IG because over the last 6 years, people were incorporated in the police before the police director, the IG came, the current IG. That's why he said over the years, police have not gone for refresher training. So, we can't just blame on him. He's trying. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's take this last call quickly. Good evening. Good evening. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I mean, good evening to one of our best sons from Benutono. My name is Ali Padikoman, again from the President of the Generation here on the studio. You know, let me comment. On the IG, we see the work of the police, and we'll get no police director is consistent as well from that big amount. We always let people say for principle. The way you started, and remember, should not consider more we should probably and including with you how the police directing the traffic before we pay 2 hours, 3 hours from year to year, the immigration, we let people, but the new system, the police do, the directing the traffic. When it goes down well, we the driver.
Okay, let me take this phone call. I'm sure this call is from our outside. Good evening.
Hey, Sabo, how you doing?
I'm okay, sir.
They Abraham Duque was the United States of America in Thursday.
Okay, let's hear from you.
Let me first Commander the Inspector General of Police for his latest elaboration. And
Hello? Hello? Well, it seems like one off the line. Okay, I'm sure he may let the call back, but we are not taking any more local call. But if you are watching the show and of course you want to put the calls from overseas, no, we're not taking any local calls at the game. Mr. Inspector General, you can respond to those later need of questions.
Okay, let's see how we can unpack these. So we had with James Farrer from Congo Town, and he asked about how the speaker chair was removed. James, like I said, I don't care about the insecurity. We were outer perimeters. We're not there to provide asset protection for the building at night. If you have information that you would like to share with the investigation, please come forward, and we would gladly appreciate members of the minority black. Like I said, we've called a lot of people for this investigation. We've called members of the legislature. We did not make a call based on black or party. So, I mean, if you've done an analysis and you claim that everyone was called from the minority black, then maybe that's what it is. But I mean, those were the people of interest that remain in the investigation. And like I said, we appreciate any additional information. Yellow Machine, I must commend Yellow Machine and his folks. I think they've been quite law abiding. I appreciate the fact that they continue with the Minister of Justice requesting permit for the protest. They came work closely together. We guided the protest for as long as they wanted to protest. As you, if you all can remember, that protest never ended up violently. I think 2 or 3 times they came up, no violence, so I must commend them. They also went to the Supreme Court, and we had a conference at the Supreme Court, and their petition was denied. So I must commend them for their respect to the rule of law. Since that particular point, I know they are engaging as to how to come back on the road, but they've been engaging so far through peaceful means, and I think that's what the democracy is about. He also made claims about something called Okada Moto. I don't even know what Okada Moto is. Whether it's I thought Okada was the name of the bike from Nigeria. And they say you ride Okada, you see we got Pembe and Okada. So whatever he's talking about, I think that I have no links with anything called Okada. I've made no demand for any registration. Register with Okada, register with Jidikada, register with Mudokada. This restriction remains in force. Motorcyclists will continue to fly everywhere else in the Republic of Liberia. This corridor is going to be free of motorcycles, and we will do everything we can to provide training, to provide safety tips and other support for our brothers, our sisters, and other members of the public who continue to use this means as a means of livelihood. We're not altering people's livelihood here. We're just saying within this corridor you're not going to operate. And this decision has been taken, it has been confirmed at the level of the National Security Council, and we're going to enforce it to the letter. So, I mean, register anywhere you are registered, you can register there, but you're not coming back in the road for your own safety, for the sanity and security of the state. Once again, I commend you, I commend the members of your organization, and I must overall commend each and every motorcyclist because overwhelmingly they have been quite cooperative and law-abiding. I must commend them in that regard. There are a few back and forth that will continue to test the resolve of the police, but I mean, they know that they meet up with the enforcement as it is. And then there is the issue of the payment, and then the transport red light issue, the
seizure, harassment from the officers. The assertions here are true. We've gotten numerous complaints of people who have been harassed by police officers, people who have had their licenses taken by random police officers who could not be identified. But the thing about it is, every time we're able to come across some of these officers who take drastic actions and they are penalized for these activities. Right before I came here this evening, there was a case reported where this young lady was driving. A police officer pulled her over. He claimed that he gave her verbal instruction and she did not accept the instruction. But the lady pulled over. I mean, if you believe that she violated by not accepting her instruction, you go ahead and give her a ticket. He asked for license, she produced her license, registration, insurance, and everything. And he took her license and just walked away. Fortunately, she was able to test the system. She came in and she reported, and were able to find him. And immediate action has been taken. He's removed from any traffic duties until he can be properly trained, and we believe that he's refined enough. And there are other punitive measures that are going to be taken against his behavior. It's not just his one. There's a lot of them out there. But people need to start to report. I think one of the things the guy said on how can we report to professional standards, I think we need to review our means of reporting these things to professional standards and make it easier for people to be able to reach us or be able to reach some line where they can send messages. I was just thinking, I wrote it down here, and I think we should open a WhatsApp page where people can drop videos of officers and post that number all around. Where you see any inappropriate act of a police officer, you just drop that video in there. And look, we've been following all of the different postings online.